Hey everybody, this is Eddy Dacius. We are on our 13th episode. Oh, very excited, very excited. Today we have a great guest. This episode is brought to you by Dacius Facilities Management. Dacius Facilities Management, they will manage your property with a variety of services such as cleaning, vendor management, and construction. Call them now 617-237-0106.
Yes! Welcome to the Divine Purpose Podcast, where we transport you along one of the more dynamic journeys of life. Have you ever been curious to know what it takes to become a successful leader? Or about knowing the secrets of life through the Bible? How about engaging in conversation where no topics are off limits? We will take you to new levels with guests who can help you grasp the importance of your calling. Now, here's your host, Eddy Dacius, founder of Dacius Facilities Management.
This episode, it's exciting because we have a great guest. His name is Jeff Policard. Jeff Policard, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming in, and we appreciate it. And like we like to start, who is Jeff Policard?
Hey, how long we got?
Take your time.
Well, if you ask me who I am today, I'm a father of three, husband of one, and entrepreneur, business person, marketer. I also started a podcast last year, and so I congratulate you on yours. I know it's a very demanding commitment,
Yes.
but it's also very rewarding.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. I love your setup.
Appreciate
So
it.
I look at all these things because that's something that I really like to do. So that's who I am now. I mean, I'm very creative, but also very. I'm a homebody. I like to stay at home with my family, and I like sports, basketball, and football. To be more precise, congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Oh man,
I'm very
he
happy
did
for
it, man. He did it, and
Yeah.
I'm very happy to witness this. Like 50
Yeah.
points, 5 blocks. Wow,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was amazing.
Impressive performance and well-deserved performance. Also, he's a guy I've been following, and he's just so humble. And I like the way, he's tracing an example for young kids, even in our home country in Haiti, from Nigeria, but still the same. So it's great to see. So that's me in a nutshell. My music is I'm not gonna say it's part of my past because I still do music now. It's just a different way. So I do jingles for some of my clients.
Okay.
I create music for some of their videos and some of their ads.
Oh wow.
But I also do some music for fun. But that part is very rare, or not rare per se, but I guess not as often as it was before. That's for sure, because that's kind of how I started my career, if you will, in music. So my transition from music to the business world and to marketing happened when I went to college, and I had to pick something that was a little bit more of a plan A and have music more of a plan B, which is what I did, and I'm very happy that I chose marketing because it still allows me to be almost as creative, if not more, than music, because you can explore a lot of different creative interests, if you will, when you are working in marketing. So that's basically me in a nutshell. I also have a big passion for filmmaking. I've had the pleasure and honor of participating in a few Haitian movies that I really enjoyed doing also, and it sparked my interest so much that I actually went back to school to study a little bit of film production. So I could be a little bit more, comfortable or knowledgeable in the field,
Yep.
and
Yep. You're right.
so it also allows me to use that skill for my marketing as well.
Oh man, that's a lot. But one thing we like to do is to take a time and to go deeper on our conversation. And you have a huge history. So anybody who knows the Policard family, they will talk about your father, Reginald Policard. What can you tell us about him?
Well, it's weird because I have obviously a much different relationship with him
Okay.
than a lot of the people who know him for his music. So to me, he's just my dad. He's a talented musician.
Yeah.
Because of him and thanks to him, I developed some talent, not quite as much as his. Because even before I came out into this world, I was listening to music from my mom's womb, and I always say that, and it's true because it did have an impact. I had a natural ability to understand music, to listen,
Okay.
to hear, and to reproduce what I hear.
Okay.
I had some classical and training and stuff when I was young, so it gave me an extra boost. But overall, I think it was from listening to my dad playing music all the time. If it wasn't him playing piano, it was some sort of CD, or I guess back then it was vinyl playing, and it helped me develop the skills that I have, even if it's not great anymore. But at least
Wow, come on, man. You just being humble. Come on, Jeff. Come on, man. You did a lot, man. So, but my question now,
Yeah.
how was your introduction to music? How was it? Like, how did you get introduced to music? I know your father did, but can you remember what happened?
Very good question. I think I got introduced officially when I went to take classical lessons at
Okay.
Madame Villedoin in Haiti. And from there, I noticed that I did have the natural talent to learn fast and to understand and to read music and stuff like that. So after that, when you do classical, it's completely different, by the way. So it's not at all the same as to any other type of music, but it sparked my interest to also start playing music and listening to other types of music, believe it or not, which was a clash for me and my dad, because the music that I was listening to was because of my age, and
Yeah,
it was
the new generation.
that was mostly device cadence, for the most part, and he did not like that at all.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, he forbid me to play music at the house when I was a young teenager, and telling me to go play something else. Yeah, because it didn't really go well with him, that I chose to do that.
Okay.
But to me, as a kid, that's natural. I think I do understand that. I know I needed to listen to other things, but I think there's a different way to approach it when you're talking to a teenager that's already rebellious and trying to establish his own, trying to establish his own personality. So that's how I got into music.
This is very interesting because if you follow us on YouTube and maybe on all our podcasts, everybody who are Asian, they talk about a family dynamic where it was kind of difficult for them and they had some pressure. And I understand what you're telling me, that is you had some pressure from your interest in music and what your dad wanted you to play. Can you go deeper on that?
Yeah, the pressure came when I started to really like rehearse or perform. I started a band, like a small band in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And we started playing music at the house, loud music at the house, music that my dad didn't like. So it automatically created a clash. So what happened is that I only had to play when he was not home. Whenever he got home, I had to stop. I remember that. So it's almost like we had people looking outside to make sure that when he is coming, that not to even let him listen to one note.
Okay.
So that's one thing. And after that, when we couldn't play at the house anymore, I had to stay in another neighborhood close by where I used to take some of the instruments that I had and go and perform somewhere else. And then eventually my brother and I teamed up. That's when really we took it a little more seriously. And I remember we got an album deal when I was maybe like 16 years old.
Yeah.
But the reason why we got the album deal is because of my dad. He set up a meeting with us with Jeff Policard from Nouvelle Génération. May he rest in peace. He was an exceptional producer and greatly missed in the Haitian music industry.
Yep, definitely.
And he gave us a chance even before he listened to any of our music. I literally made up the titles of the songs at the meeting. I didn't even have any songs written yet. Maybe I had two. And he asked me what are the titles of the songs. At the meeting, I created the entire album. Like, this is song number 1, number 2, number 3, and I made up a lot of the titles, and we had to stick by them. And then after that, we went to writing the songs and creating the songs, and we released our first album in 1998. And I was 18 years old, or almost 19 years old, and then after that, I went straight to college. So when that time happened, going to college, that's when everything kind of shifted. So I took school a little bit more seriously than music. And then after that, we did another album while I was in college, because our friend Michael Alien was also part of the group. And Michael was in Miami, I was in Rhode Island, my brother was in Haiti at the time, so it was very difficult. And after that, when I moved to Miami, we started Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit is, I guess same type, but different group of musicians.
Yep.
But it was just a fresh start. I wanted to detach. Because the reason why I called my band T-Does, by the way,
yeah,
T-Does. My dad was on Puerto Rico when he was in Caribbean.
Wow.
So, but I wanted to detach myself completely. So we did Fahrenheit, and then we had some good success with Fahrenheit. We had the pleasure and opportunity to travel a lot in the French islands, a lot, in the US and Canada, Europe, France, specifically, and we were good for a while, and then after that, I guess the interest for music wasn't the same anymore. And then
can you tell us what changed? What exactly has changed in your interest? Is it because of the commitment? Is it because of the situation in Haiti, or can you go deeper?
I think the music situation, doing it for a while, the traveling, and I think I just wanted a little bit more stability, including my brother. A lot of times, we played for empty rooms also, so that's part of the process.
Okay.
A lot of times we played in very full rooms too, which is also part of the process, and that was great. But when you look at the instability of it, it's not 100% reliable. And the nightlife, wanting to start a family, wanting to do other things, the money, which was also not great at the time. Because we see all those great bands making good money and being successful. We don't see all the ones that are not making it. So we think that when you're in music that you're gonna make money, but we just don't see the ones that are not making it.
Yeah.
So we're just not only financial, but you said commitment. I think the big mistake that I personally made in music is not working hard enough. I was too reliant on my talent. So if anybody's listening here, especially young people, do not rely only on your talent. You look at somebody like Giannis, that we spoke about earlier. Is he talented? Of course.
It is.
And his body is designed to play basketball. But guess what? If he sits on his butt all day and just relies on his talent, he's not gonna go far. He's just gonna go a little bit, maybe for a little while, but after that, everybody's gonna go beyond him. So that's what happened to me. I think it's just I didn't put enough hard work into my craft. I didn't practice enough. I just relied too much on my talent, and it caught up to me. And it happened that a lot of times we went to perform with no practice, thinking that we're just good, we're talented, we're good when we could do it. And
yeah, you're right.
It wasn't the case at all.
Yeah,
so that was part of it too.
And I'm glad the advice, because it's come from somebody who did it and who just telling us what to expect when you're not committed 100%. Let's go to your education. So how was your transition from playing music and looking for a professional job like in marketing?
Well, I graduated college in 2003. So when I graduated, my goal was to actually move to New York and start my career there. I don't know if you know about marketing, but a lot of times when you get a marketing degree, some of the first jobs you're going to get is going to be in sales. So that was a rude awakening for me, and not necessarily having a background in sales, but obviously I was open to taking any job that would help me advance in my career. But I didn't find anything in New York. I also was an international student.
Okay.
So which means that I can only work in the States for 1 year, and then I had to go to Haiti.
Okay.
But in 2004, if you remember, in Haiti, there's always something, but in 2004,
always something, man. Always something.
So a lot of things happened in 2004 that discouraged me going back to Haiti, because going back to Haiti was also part of my plan. And I made the decision to stay here in the States, and my grandfather at the time had a house in Miami. He invited me to come and start and looking for jobs there. So he opened his doors to me, and I went there and I found my first job in sales. Did that for a while, and then after that I did another job in sales. Did that for a while again, and then after that I started working with the Haitian companies for the Haitian diaspora market.
Okay.
Being a diaspora myself, I'm like, and also having the marketing
degree,
expertise, I was helping companies in Haiti that wanted to engage and communicate with Haitians that are outside of Haiti, which is where I was. So I started doing marketing with different companies that wanted to engage and communicate with Haitians living abroad. And then that's really where I really started my marketing career. And then about 7 years ago, after working with different types of companies as consultants and stuff, as a consultant, and then I opened my own agency called Cool Ideas Marketing, which is a full-time, not a full-time, I'm sorry, which is a digital marketing agency.
Okay.
And still working with different Haitian, American, and Haitian from Haiti also companies, and still doing that, but also started working with other companies that are local, small businesses and stuff like that. And that's pretty much the journey. And today I still do the same thing. I have a few other companies that I represent, that I work with, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, that's very impressive. But one thing too, I just when you were talking, I realized that you said you had to go in New York and then take a job in sales, and you said you didn't have any previous experience there. So how was your confidence level taking that job?
Great question. Well, I didn't go to New York. I wanted to go to New York. But I didn't find anything in New York. I found something in Miami, and that's when my grandfather told me that I could move to Miami to his house to start, my career here. So that's what I did. But my first job as a salesperson, what I did is I used to sell ads. If you're familiar with Winn-Dixie, it's a supermarket chain in Florida.
Yep.
And what it is behind the receipts. If you ever look at behind a receipt of a Winn-Dixie, you're gonna see local barbershops, you're gonna see local dry cleaners, you're gonna see coupons from spas or whatever. or restaurants. So that's what I used to sell. I used to have an area in Kendall, Miami, where I would visit with different local businesses, including restaurants and local shops. You know, even if I think I think one of my clients was actually a car repair shop, like a body shop.
Wow.
But anyway, so any business that's looking to have local presence and have the coupon spot behind the Winn-Dixie receipts was a target audience for me.
Okay.
But as far as my confidence level, I was pretty confident, just not as confident as some of the guys that were training me, which is the reason why I had the boost of confidence after my first training session. I was like, oh, these guys, they made $1,000 that day in front of me.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, these guys made $1,000 in commission right in front of me, and say, see, Jeff, you can do that too. I'm like, for sure, I can do that. You know, if you guys can do it, I can do it too. The thing is, we went to Naples, and we went to areas where they knew also that it's very, very profitable.
Yeah.
And they made that commission. So for me, when I was assigned my location, my confidence level dropped because they assigned me a location where people only spoke Spanish.
Wow.
I don't speak Spanish. And the worst thing is, people say that I look a little bit Spanish.
Yeah.
So people looking at me speaking Spanish and me not understanding, they almost think that I'm faking it and I'm a fake, that I don't want to speak Spanish. So it was a complicated situation. I had to explain myself in the sense I'm not. I'm Asian. I speak French and Creole. I speak English. I don't speak Spanish that well. And they were like, well, sorry, we can't deal with you.
Wow.
Yeah, because they want to speak Spanish. They want somebody that they can communicate, which I understand sometimes, but it just was frustrating to try to communicate with them in English and them wanting to speak Spanish. So that only lasted maybe 4 months, where I realized that I could not make enough money in that area. So I tried to have me transferred, and I said, even I'll go to Naples where you made that $1,000 that day.
Wow.
See if I can work there, you know. But it didn't happen that way. But that's okay. I mean, I think now that experience taught me how to become a better salesperson for sure.
Yep.
My next job, I was a lot more confident, but what I was doing, I was selling over the phone water purifying systems.
Okay.
For households. So I was calling people while they were at dinner every day and telling them, hey, you know, what kind of water are you drinking? You know, you should be drinking this water. You know, and I was telemarketer of the week a couple of times, so I guess I was good for a little bit. But after that, it gets very difficult to continue in that kind of job. So that's when I went back to music. To be honest with you, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to keep calling people over the phone and trying to sell water purifying systems. And let me go back to music. And that's when we created Ironhide.
Okay. All right. So, like I said, this is great insight. And to be honest, I'm enjoying this a lot.
What comes before making a smart decision? Choices. A smart choice is the best option, which is who we are. That's why our clients expect more from us and, in return, get more in everything we do. We understand the problem. That's why we thrive for excellence. We don't just create a winning culture. We aspire to be a smart choice, a voice for solutions. We believe in integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. Our passion is to bring results from our clients by working harder, smarter, and faster. As a team, we always deliver because we recognize your needs. Choosing smart influences us to be the best version of ourselves. That makes us different than other companies. It makes us confident in achieving our goals. It makes us who we are. And it makes us DFM, the smart choice.
But knowing now that there's a lot going on into music, where a lot of groups make a lot of money, but other groups don't do that well. So what can you tell us about Kompa?
Kompa. Well, first of all, I think Kompa is rich. I think Kompa is a rhythm. It's a rhythm that can be played in many different ways. It's just a beat. So you can have jazz influence, you can have roots influence, you can have a lot of different types of influence. R&B, very good one, because a lot of people are using that now. Pop, which Kaimi made a living doing, combining pop and Kompa. But my issue with Kompa, and one of the reasons why maybe I got bored, is the fact that it's too slow to evolve. So one of my issues is bands like Kaimi, for example, and I use that because I think they're one of the ones that took that music the furthest, if I may. You have Tabu Combo, you have a lot of people that also took it far. But Kaimi and the new generation is one that took it the furthest. Even my wife is not Haitian, she's Cuban. When she listens to Kaimi, I do notice the difference, because it's easier for her to remember the melodies. It's easier for her to sing along. They have a lot of English words.
You're right.
So my issue is people, especially us Haitians, not supporting that, because technically for them it's not Kompa, which it's wrong on many levels. Number one, it is Kompa because it's the same rhythm. It's just using other influences. It's just different types of melodies and different arrangements, different harmonies. But it is Kompa in its purest, well, not purest form, but it is Kompa. That's number one. Number two, it's your country, it's your music, it's your roots, it's your fellow Haitian brothers and sisters.
It's your identity,
and they are taking this far into Europe, into Africa, into Asia, with the flag. And yet, instead of pushing them and saying, let's push these guys, you say it's not Kompa, you say that they're sellouts. So I know it's a very specific example, but to me, some of those, they were saying a lot of the same things to us too, because we're not playing traditional.
You're right.
Or whatever. We play Kompa, but we try to incorporate other elements. I have other influence also that I wanted to, and my brother and everybody else. So we receive the same feedback a lot of times. These guys play, Kompa soft, or whatever. It's not okay, fine. But the younger generation really appreciated that, because it makes it easier for them to remember melodies. So the point that I'm trying to make is the issue with Kompa, I think, is the lack of evolution and the lack of willingness from the audience to accept that evolution. Because trying to do it is one thing, but if you're trying to do it and then people are not coming to your performances anymore, then what's the point? Because they want to stick to what they know.
So what you say makes sense. My wife, she grew up here. She was born in the US. She's American, Haitian American, and she knows Kaimi. And in college, she was a president of the Haitian Association, and she invited those groups to play. But what you say made a lot of sense. Definitely here they have more support. But in Haiti, I think they did good in the surface. But what you say, I think you're bringing more insight now, right?
They still did good because the music is good. You can't deny it. The thing is, what I was referring to is the pushback for the evolution. That's what I mean. So there is too much pushback. There's not a lot of willingness to expand, to do something different, because we can't do the same music than we did 50 years ago. If you listen to the radio now, which I even don't anymore, you're gonna see songs that are 3 minutes long. You're gonna see songs that have short intro, verse, chorus, short bridge, boom, second verse shorter, boom, and then done. The song is done in like 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And do that in Kompa, and you see what you'll see. All the radio stations will not play. You say, what is that? 2 minutes. Where's the groove? So I get that people want to dance,
Yeah.
But for radio format and for the new times, you have to be willing to accept these changes that will push the music and also incorporate other artists, incorporate other languages, incorporate other melodies,
Jeff,
and support that.
Jeff, I'm gonna challenge you. What you're saying makes a lot of sense. So now we're just gonna get into hot topic. So what can we do to get Kompa to the next level? As a marketing guy, what can you do? Let's say you have a group, you're taking them to the next level. What are you doing with them?
Wow, it's funny you ask because maybe about 5 years ago, I wanted to go into marketing and managing young groups.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I did, what I wanted to do, I never really succeeded in or pursued that venture really is not only musically speaking, improve the melodies so that the melodies could be more memorable. Number one, shorten the music so it's not 7 minutes long. Shorten the solos, the see well. I love it. Trust me. Nothing makes me feel better, and that's the part that people don't get. Nothing makes me feel better than listening to pure Kompa in my car. Like whatever in the morning, it hypes me up and puts me in a good mood. And I'm talking about all kinds. Scott Dance, New York Stars, Device, Italy, New Look, Jack, you name it. Class, amazing. I love them. I really do. And I wouldn't change those bands because those bands are great. I'm talking about allowing other bands. Like, for example, Impossible is doing it right now.
Okay.
They're doing it different. They're doing concerts. They're doing, instead of bal, because when you do a bal, it's different. You can only have a certain number of people per se, but when you're doing a concert, well, you can see. But if I take my wife to a Haitian concert, she's not going to get it. She doesn't dance. She doesn't dance. And I'm not a big dancer either. So what are we going to do? We're going to stand by the bar and then listen all night? Where if you go to a concert, a more traditional, you sit and you listen. You can stand on the chair. You can dance. You watch. It's a show. So that's what I think. That's on the live scene. That should happen. Which is the reason again that Kaimi, most likely, T-Vice did a lot of that stuff also, but Kaimi was really the ones that shine the most when you have shows in concert. And Posita is doing it now. And then finally, I think the radio stations need to play a big role into that too. Play our music. When you go to Haiti, 90% of the music is not Haitian. That's not good. Because what's happening is that it's like we're contradicting ourselves. We're telling people that Kompa should stay the same, but yet the taste of people are changing and they're listening to other things. The radio stations are playing these other things. But they're not playing the Haitian Kompa that they want to stay the same, which is super well, the word escapes me. But it's contradicting.
Okay, but let's say so now. So Kompa Direct versus new Kompa. Who are you choosing, and why?
I'm always for the future and for evolution. And if you look at even marketing ads, I look at that as an example. They're great, they're powerful, with images that are, but you can see the graphics are not the same. You can see the graphics are black and white sometimes, and it's not as crisp and digitally impressive.
Okay.
But we learned from them, and now it looks great. Movies, it looks better now. You almost feel like you're in the movie with the actors.
Okay.
But you're not gonna say that classic like The Godfather or old movies that don't have their place. They do. Kompa Direct has its place. That's what got us here. But new is where it can take us. Because why is it that you have people that don't speak Spanish that listen to Spanish music all the time? People that don't speak Portuguese that listen to Brazilian music all the time.
Okay.
People that don't speak Korean but that listen to Korean pop all the time. The reason is because the melodies are a lot richer.
Okay.
Even if you don't understand what they're saying, but you can sing along.
Yeah, the melody is universal, right?
It's universal. Kompa is a little bit lazy in the melodies, a little bit lazy in the harmonies.
Wow.
And when you have to, you can't have a keyboard solo that's a minute. That's the same thing. And okay, that's good.
Yo.
That's fine.
But that's funny. Yo, that's funny. I never laughed that much in the podcast. But the guitar has to get the solo too. Don't forget the guitarist, you know. They have to have
a guitar solo.
Oh,
you have a groove, a keyboard solo. That's already 2 minutes out of the song.
Oh man, you're right. But so I know we this is great. This is great. I like it, and I think this gives a great understanding of the new generation. If they want to pursue Kompa, get it to the next level, listen to Jeff Policard. He did it. He had some failure, but he learned the lesson. So last word for you, Jeff.
Last word is I'm gonna say dream. You know, if I have one word, it's dream. You should be able to dream. You should be able to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. But don't just dream. Have a plan.
Wow.
Because I can't emphasize this enough. I had a dream of becoming a rock star myself and performing in front of millions of people. But I didn't really have a plan. I thought that I was talented enough to just go and get on stage and just do it, which I failed at doing. I succeeded in some ways, but I think most of it was failure because I didn't really get to where I wanted to get. My dream did not become reality. So dream big as you can. Dream until people laugh at you. You know, because if they don't laugh at you, it's probably because you're not driven big enough. So dream, but have a plan to back up that dream, and also have the habits. Because the habits is what I didn't have either. Every day, you work on your craft. Even if you're the best, you work on your craft every day, hours after hour after hour. And that's why. And if you happen to be Haitian and you listen to this, and you happen to be playing music in Kompa and all that kind of stuff, dare to be different, dare to stand out, and not do the same. You know, Kompa is a beat. You can do whatever you want on it, literally. So, and listen to other types of music. Listen. That's what I would say.
And thank you, Jeff. We really appreciate it. One way we like to say it, it's embrace your calling, embrace who you are, and go with it with a plan, right?
Yes.
With a plan. So we appreciate you, Jeff. This is our 13th episode with Divine Purpose Podcast. This is Eddy Dacius. We had a great time with Jeff Policard. He's a marketing person. He's a musician. He does it all. He has his own business. He has his family, and he is the son of one of the great Reginald Policard. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for watching the Divine Purpose Podcast on YouTube. For more streaming with interesting guests and premium content, subscribe now on DPPodcast Live.